Well, welcome to the Top Gun Show. I'd like to welcome back the one, the only, Janet Schijns. I don't even know where to start. Janet is the CEO of the JS Group. She was recently named one of the top 10 women in tech by Analytics Insights for being one of the top women influencing and driving change in the technology industry. She was also named the Channel Influencer of the Year. She leads a strong team at the JS Group that gets results such as average client improvement of 17% in cost of channels and 47% improvement in channel performance. I could go on and on about her EVP and channel chief experiences at Verizon and Office Depot, but I need to save some time for Janet. Janet, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Steve. As always, it's a delight to get to talk to you.
It's so much fun. You're one of my favorite people in the industry
Right
because
back at you.
you have the ability to skate where the puck is going, Wayne Gretzky.
Ah, my favorite.
So in light of that, what's new in the channel? Where's the puck going?
Oh my goodness. I think there's three things that are changing in what I like to call the channel perfect storm. So one is clearly the technology. The rate of technology change is continuing to ramp up. And so we're seeing a real evolution here to a couple of key technology areas that I think the channel needs to pay attention to, or they could, potentially become irrelevant. The first is edge compute. So when we couple what's happening in data and AI with 5G and the capability to compute at the edge in devices and secure those devices over the air, if you will, we're in for game changer number one from a technology standpoint. As data gets closer to the edge and doesn't have to go back to the cloud in order to be processed, we see a lot of new IoT use cases coming to the forefront. We continue, of course, to see growth in cloud, security, and everything as a service. And that leads me to my second trend in the channel, which is services. We are now at a whopping $9 for every $1 of product sold, services versus product. And the channel is clearly in the driver's seat there, making decisions about which vendors they work with and what services they offer based on where they can hit their bottom line for their business. It's leading to much higher variables and a lot of consolidation in the MSP industry that feels like everybody's buying everybody else. So we're going to see a lot of MSP super regional players versus local MSPs, which were traditionally, 15, 20, 30, 40 miles from their headquarters. I think we're going to see a lot of geographic consolidation there as those services become easier to scale because they're done remote. But don't get too cocky about that channel because companies like Allstate are already saying you can't use RMM software when managing one of their franchise offices. So I think all the hacks that have happened as well are going to start to transform how MSPs deliver. So I think we're going to see a lot more homegrown platforms and a lot more security. And the final trend is the people. We are in a war for talent, and the war seems to be centered on three things. One, we had a change of address. We're not going back to the office, and those companies that are insisting that we do are seeing massive turnover, and that is benefiting the channel, who's been less extreme about their return to work. Two, we're seeing people want to work for local companies that mean something, that do something, that do something where they're making a contribution. Again, great for the channel. And third, let's not forget, we've got a vaccine mandate. No matter where you come down on the vaccine mandate, the reality is about 20 or 30% of people are not vaccinated, depending on the numbers. Big companies are going to be compelled to put vaccine mandates in because they can't possibly do a vaccine or testing. It's too complex when you have thousands of people. So it's going to be a hardcore vaccine mandate for those people who potentially already had the virus and feel their antibodies are robust enough, or even for those folks who don't want to get the vaccine. You're going to see some flight of talent there as well. So the channel, who's been struggling to find talent for the last 3-4 years, one of the top inhibitors for their growth has been talent. I think we're going to see a shift of talent over to the channel to be good for the channel's bottom line and ultimately good for the industry.
Wow. I feel like I should just pay you a lot of money for that information. That was great.
Thanks.
Well, it certainly seems like the indirect sales channel is alive and well. What growth tips would you like to share with industry leaders and sales partners?
Everything's digital. If you haven't yet invested in search engine optimization for your website, wake up. smell the digital coffee, and get to work. Many people built their websites, maybe with a friend, maybe with a nephew, maybe on WordPress. It's not enough. You have to optimize your website for people to find you. That is how 81% of companies now find their technology solutions, and close to 60% of people already know what technology they want when they reach out to a partner or a vendor. So you need to invest this year. This doesn't mean you have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on Google AdWords. It doesn't mean you have to invest a ton of money with a marketing agency. There are simple things you can do in order to improve your website and improve your search engine optimization locally in that 50 miles or so. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it's time to retrain your salespeople. We are not going back to face-to-face. We're not. There may be some face-to-face, but primarily it's going to be hybrid. And salespeople, and I've watched it, are appallingly bad at presenting on platforms like this, like Zoom. And so there's going to need to be some training, both in how they use social media, which Steve, you and I've talked about a lot from a social selling standpoint, but also how they present, how they put forward proposals, how they negotiate, and how they work in a truly hybrid world. The final thing is, skills matter. And from a services standpoint, enhancing the skills of our people, critical. Cybersecurity, IoT, and mobility seem to be the technical skills the channel needs to really dig in on. So my number one recommendation, spend a little time, spend a little money, redo your plan from marketing to sales to services for this, a new digitized business world.
Yeah, that's really well said. And one of the popularities of the Top Gun show, how it's grown to, my max of 30,000 buyers really follow the show because they're doing their own research. They're listening to Janet on the Top Gun show. It's a different world. I mean, like you said, buyers are doing their own research, and they're getting 60% of the way there, 70% of the way there without talking to salespeople. You're absolutely right.
Right. And there's a lot of tools now, Steve, right? So there's tools like Set Sale that let you analyze your funnel and find true reasons that deals close versus what the salespeople said. For example, one company we work with where we instituted Set Sale and a couple other automated tools for sales saw a 17% increase in their close rate, 17.8%. So I guess you could say 18. And what it really did was it isolated that, hey, look at this. When someone from finance is on the proposal presentation, our close rate goes up. Hey, look at this. When we hit this price, our close rate goes up. And so there's a lot of tools. There's also tools, and there's a number of applications, but there's also tools, for example, to use as a bot for you while you're on something like Zoom. They can take notes for you. There's a tool, and I can't think of the name, that will give you feedback on how you're doing in presentation. Are you establishing contact with the camera? Is your pace good? Are people paying attention? So all of these automations of things that we used to think of as art, right? The art of sales, the art of marketing, they've all become sciences, and there's tools for sciences. And so I do think that 2022 is going to be the year of the science business plan. And I highly encourage the partners, know your data, use the tools, automate your business, succeed.
Yeah, and I want to throw a commercial in for you. A master surgeon, could have a scalpel, right? But unless you know how to use that tool, you just can't go out and buy Set Sale and think, okay, I'm going to run my organization. You got to reach out to Janet and her team at the JS Group. If you want a master surgeon to come in to your company and really help that tool be sharp and successful, I really recommend reaching out to the JS Group.
And you know what? I'll add on to that advertisement by telling you that for 95% of the partners we worked with last year, we got a vendor to pay for it. So if you're a partner listening to this, please feel free to talk to us, and we can go and look at how we can help that happen for you. And if you're a vendor, it's time to change your partner program to help your partners with all of these things digital and these new trends in the market. So reach out to us, and we can put together a program for your partners to get better.
That's so well said. I feel like I've just gone to an 8-hour seminar, just listened to you in 5 minutes.
You're awesome.
Great.
I love that.
Great. Janet, thank you so much for spending some time, carving some time out of your busy schedule, and sharing some really, really great information with our viewers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. As always, I love your show.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody.